Hi, I'm Alex Moyes and I'm a property investor in Newark in Nottinghamshire. I work in cyber security and I'm building my portfolio at the same time. We're in a great part of town here where we're really close to the industrial estate up the road. This is going to be my first HMO.
Alex, how many properties have you got?
3 that are currently completely finished and tenanted, and I've got 3 more that are waiting to be refurbished.
And what made you get into property investing in the first place?
Property is something I've always been really interested in, but what really gave me the shove to get going was that I wanted to put my children through school, and I committed to them going to school, and I decided I had to build a business to pay for it. So I put my passion for property together with my, the big why, the big reason why I wanted to get started, and then started looking for houses. So at the moment I've got 3 single-let properties. They've all been bought on the buy, refurbish, refinance method. They're now fully tenanted with local families. And I'm moving on to look for properties that would be ideal for small HMOs. So the other 3 at the moment are all going to be, they're all 2 or 3 bed terrace houses that I'm converting into 4 bed HMOs. Before I take you in to see my first HMO, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification button. I've been on the YouTube channel before, and if you'd like to know more about my story, you can watch this video with me and Kevin McDonald here. This is going to be where the magic happens a little bit on this one. This is a downstairs outside loo and storehouse. We've also got a nice small yard, so quite low maintenance. And the other thing I'm really proud about is I have my first store, and as this is going to be a HMO, I can keep using that for the rest of my property business as well. And at the moment, this is a 2-bed terrace house with a bathroom upstairs. To turn it into a 4-bed HMO, we need to move that bathroom. So the place we're going to move it to is right here in the storehouse. We've got a lovely, functioning outside loo and then a storehouse. So what we're going to have to do is dig up the floor, insulate the floor, take this internal wall down. We're going to batten out the whole space and insulate the whole space, and then we can convert it into a bathroom. Warning, it's a bit of a mess in here, so always use protection. Let's go inside. This was the kitchen. One of the main things we're going to do is put a door through there into the bathroom. We've stripped out all of the kitchen, and actually the fundamental of this property is we've got to insulate the whole house on the inside for the EPC requirement. But at the moment we just kept the sink in because a lot of the trades need the water. So we're refurbishing the kitchen. It had a kitchen that was perfectly serviceable before, but didn't like the look of it. And as a HMO, there's going to be 4 people cooking and washing up and preparing food in here. We need to reconfigure it so that there's space for them all, and so we have enough cupboards. The council say you have to have so many cupboards for each tenant, so we need to make sure we can fit that in. And the kitchen went all the way around the walls before. You can see where the extractor was, and that's where the door into the bathroom is going to be.
How do you get the right budget for a kitchen?
So for the single lets I've already done, I spend about £1,500 on a new kitchen. And that really includes the main units, the sink and an oven. For a HMO we're going to have to provide a bit more. So we're going to be providing a fitted fridge, washing machine, dishwasher. So the budget will be a bit more, but I'll be looking at somewhere between £2,000 to £3,000. So this is the communal area. It was a dining room, but this is going to be where the tenants are going to sit and relax and watch TV. So we've planned out where the seating area is going to be, where the TV is going to be, and so this will be for tenants' downtime.
Does the Hoover come with the property?
No, added bonus from the guy doing the strip out.
And we've got some nice feng shui up there. Is that staying or going?
Absolutely going. Yeah, we're going to rewire the whole property. So we're going to take all the lovely features out, and we're going to make sure that it's really functional, that we've got power in the right places, we've got switches that tenants can access, and we've got all fittings that are going to be really efficient, and they're going to look great as well. I first saw this property in December 2021. I made an offer just before Christmas. And I had the offer accepted. Actually, I was the lower bidder of 2. Well, I was known to the estate agents, I was a cash buyer, bought some houses through them before. So they actually persuaded the landlord then, the vendor, that I was going to be a more certain buy for them. So we agreed a price in December. Then it came to survey, and we actually found 1 or 2 problems that were going to cost us a significant amount to fix. So we did have to go back then and renegotiate the price. She was a landlord with a couple of properties all around the country. This was the only one she had in Newark. It was actually being let as a 3-bed HMO, but not really set up for that. It was still just a house and people were just renting it by the room. She wanted the money to do something else, so she was looking to sell something in her portfolio. So this is the front room. This is going to be the first bedroom as well. We're actually going to put a stud wall in here so that we can maintain the front door, but make the bedroom over here more private for the tenants. This is a great example of why we need to rewire it. In here there's like one wiring point, so there's another one over there. We're going to have tenants need lots of electrics. You know, this is where the home is in this bedroom, so we need to make sure that it works for them and it's really functional. And that's really important actually for growing the length of tenancies and make sure people stay.
And there's a hole in the floor.
Yeah, the elephant in the room, there's a hole. The problem that this house has is it has some settlement, or at least we suspect it has settlement at the moment. So it's really important to work with surveyors and structural engineers and have all the right team around you. Settlement is where the house has dropped ever so slightly over time. It's happened over a long period of time, but you can see some cracking on the outside and on the inside. So we suspect there's a reason for that, and we want to find out what the reason is so that we can fix it. So we've dug the hole so we can look down into what was the original foundations, and he can come and inspect it and then tell us the right course of action. It's a great example of why you probably need to spend longer in a property on your first viewing. It was when I came back for the second viewing and we did a survey as well that it became apparent that these were not just small hairline cracks that you get in old properties. Yes, everybody freaks out when you talk about structural problems, and I did my fair share of that as well. But the power of having a great team is I knew the right people to call. Called the structural engineer, had him come around, and he's much more chilled. He's like, yeah, we do loads of this, we've done hundreds of underpinnings, whatever actually is the cause of the settlement, we'll fix it. So between him, talking to my insurance broker, my mortgage broker, understanding all the steps I need to go through to make sure that we do the work right, we have the right documents, and then we can get the lending at the end of the project, which is really important to pay the investor back. We have all the right team, so we go around them, we make sure we know what we need to do, and we build a plan. So this is bedroom 2. From a work point of view, there's less to do in here. Every room's going to go back to brick to be insulated properly. We've got a nice cupboard over there, so that's great for storage for tenants, and storage is always really important. So as you can see in here, there's some cracks along the wall. This was the thing that first raised my suspicions, and they actually run all the way along and down the other side. So you can see and you can feel in the floor as well, there's a slight fall towards the corner of the property. So this is an end terrace, and it actually used to be a shop, and the front shop windows have been bricked in before. So we think that they're probably not supported properly compared to the rest of the house. So this is bedroom 3. It's going to stay pretty much like this in terms of the configuration, but obviously like before, we'll be rewiring it and re-insulating it. We're going to change all the doors as well. These are just very standard, well, not original, but they're very standard old doors. And one of the things we need to make sure is that we're meeting the fire regulations required of a HMO. So we'll be putting fire doors in the bedrooms with all the correct locks on it, so that tenants have a safe and secure place to live.
And does that canvas come with the property?
Added extra. So this was a bathroom. At the back of some terrace houses, the rooms are really small, but on this street, the rooms are 4 metres long and 2 metres wide, which is exactly what we need for a HMO room in this town. So it's a great opportunity to take the bathroom out. I've shown you where I'm putting the bathroom downstairs, so we can make this another bedroom, and that's really crucial to making this type of property work. Before I talk about all the numbers for this project and tell you more about my journey, there's a free property report in the description below. Go and download it now. I always think as an investor, it's my job to find the opportunity and to find the value. If there was nothing going on here, it wouldn't be a deal. There's either something wrong with the owner or potentially the property. Ideally, you want a property that's fine and an owner that's got a problem. But right now in this market, there's less choice than there was. So I think my job is to find the opportunities, find out what needs to be done, and plan for it, and bring the right team in. And I think if you do that, it's actually not that risky. The risk is when you don't have people around you who know what they're doing, and you don't know what the problems are, or you're blasé about the risks. One of my mantras is to respect the project or respect the challenge. And if you respect it and you think about everything that could go wrong and you plan for it, then actually it's not really that risky. Even using investor finance in the first place was a challenge. I was spending years thinking I'd like to buy some houses, but I need to save the money for the deposits. So it's just going on that journey, I think, and knowing I had to figure out why would anyone lend me money. And I was so fortunate that Kevin McDonnell funded my first property from that challenge that I did, because it set an amazing precedent. But the most important thing was that made me start, and it made me talk about what I was doing. And when you talk to people about what you're doing and you show a passion and you have a plan, people start to say, oh, yeah, I might be able to support you in that, or yeah, I know someone who could help, or tell me a bit more about it. And it's just about talking more and more to people about what you have and not being desperate either. I've never sort of snapped anybody's hand off for money. It has to be the right project and the right price, and we have to be aligned with how we're going to work together. And that really helps as well, because then people want to work with me. But the main thing is to be credible. And I spend a lot of time trying to figure out what am I going to do, building a plan. And then I can explain that to people. And people, I know the stuff I don't know. And I know people who can help me. And having a mentor has been really important as well, because that provides credibility. If an investor wants to know, have you ever delivered a HMO before? So, well, I've delivered these 3 projects and I've got a mentor over here who's delivered tens of HMOs. And that gives people some certainty. So I just talk about what I'm doing. So the numbers. So I originally agreed to buy this house at 120,000. I actually settled on a final figure of 116,000, so for the purchase price. The refurb, which I've priced up the refurb at just under £19,000. But that doesn't include the structural stuff we talked about before. So that is going to be on top. So that could be somewhere in the region of £24,000 all in. So that's the refurbishment budget. We spent £5,000 on stamp duty and legal fees and legal fees at the end of the deal as well. And we have finance costs. We're paying 0.5% a month to a private investor for finance for the length of the project. So that, I think, for my budgeted time, that's going to be about £4,000 or £5,000. So that's all in. When it's finished, it's going to be 4 rooms as a HMO. In my town, in Newark, they're going to be about £90 to £95 a week per room. So all in all, we're looking at £1,600–1,700 rent roll per month. So that's the rent roll. The bills will be about £400 a month, and the mortgage will be about £350 to £400 a month. So the net profit after the mortgage is going to be around £800 to £900 a month. And that's the money that over the next 4 or 5 years is going to allow me to pay off the money left in. So when I finished, this house will be worth about £165,000. And I could actually see a house just over there from here that sold at £165,000 a couple of weeks ago. So it's a great comparison right now. So I know exactly what it's going to be worth when it's done. And if I achieve that price, I'm going to leave in about £35,000 to £40,000 in the deal, if you like, when it's finished. And the rent profit over the next 3 or 4 years will pay that off. So that's looking at about 25% return on capital employed. The yield's going to be somewhere around 12%. It's HMO, so it's a nice yield. And ultimately, once I've paid off the investor, then that £900 a month profit is going to go to fund the goals that I've got. Owning 4 properties, I actually own 5. I've got another one ready to refurbish that I've not started yet. Still seems amazing, really. But yeah, just humbled at all the support I've had, all the people around me that I've had, and everything that I've learned. It's been an amazing journey. And it's just something that I thought was going to take me probably 20 years. It would be a retirement hobby rather than a business now. You know, we're getting better at running it like a business, and we're getting better at leveraging things. We're getting better at repeating stuff and refining those processes. And that's just the key. Each project we try and learn a bit from, and we try and do the next one a bit better, a bit faster, maybe a bit cheaper, a bit more efficiently. We try and refine that process. And before you know it, you are a few projects in, and then you are taking on the next thing. But yeah, I still pinch myself. The first 2 goals are really important, which is putting my first child and second child through school. This house on its own should put the second child through school, which is amazing. And that's the power of high cash flowing properties like HMOs or service accommodation. So once I've achieved those goals, then I want to go on to build a business that can support me, you know, my lifestyle, and could potentially replace my income in the future. You know, I have a career in cybersecurity and I don't want to give that up tomorrow. But long term, I'd like not to be an employee, and the portfolio will give me that choice, you know, those options in the future to run my life how I want to. And ultimately, to me, that means more time with the kids while they're young, and a lifestyle for us that we can do stuff that we're passionate about. And I'm passionate about property, and my wife's passionate about interior design, which goes hand in hand with delivering HMOs. And we can spend our time doing that. So yeah, that's a real gift, and it's still years away at the moment, but we're working towards it, and that drives us on. You need to figure out why you want to do this if you do want to do it. Just because it seems like a good idea is never going to push you on. You're never going to do the hard work. That you're never going to go past those things you don't know how to do it today, and you've got to go out there and you've got to figure it out. So if you know what you really want and you really have a good strong reason, then I'd say look at all the great examples out there. You know, the thing I've always thought, there's always people that have started from a worse position than me, and they've done phenomenally well. You know, there's a great phrase, trauma breeds triumph. And there's so many people out there that have been really, really low, and through property and other businesses, they've really brought themselves up. And I find that really inspiring. So if you ever feel like you're not in the right place to start, look at these people who started in so much of a worse place, and try and use that as fuel to get yourself started. And there's lots of different places you can start in property. If you don't have a lot of money, there's ways to acquire property that don't require much of your own money or any money. There's other things that you can do, other strategies that are not about buying stuff, but they're about creating cash flow. So find your why, find the inspiration, and then go and find the right tools. Because if you want to do it, there's ways that you can. I do a lot on Facebook. I'd love for people to connect with me on Facebook. My name's Alex Moyes, and my picture's right up there. I do a lot of lives on there, and I try and talk about the projects that I'm doing. We're on LinkedIn as well. So our business is called PrimePad Property, and we have a business page on LinkedIn and on Facebook. So please look those up, and we try and talk about our projects and tell people what we're doing, and you know, take that inspiration, but try and give some as well. So that was my first ever HMO project. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. It'd be great for you to come back in the coming months and see what the project's like when it's all finished. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. So I've been Alex Moyes from PrimePad Property. Thank you, goodbye.